Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the topic varicose vein. I think you would have heard this term many more times, but you may be thinking what does actually mean. So here the word varicose means twisted and swollen. So together you can see the varicose vein can be twisted and swollen veins. We'll see the definition. Varicose veins are defined as dilated, elongated, tortuous, and palpable superficial veins as a result of venous hypertension. So, as the name suggests, in this condition, the veins will be getting dilated and elongated plus tortuous. Tortuous means swelling and hard, and it is easily palpable through a superficial skin, and thus it is due to the venous hypertension. Venous hypertension means pressure in the veins, and that results in varicose veins. Then we'll see the systems that are mainly involved in the varicose vein. So in this, the venous system of the lower limbs are mainly involved, that consists of deep system of veins which lies below the deep fascia, that is below the deep layer of the skin. Superficial system of veins which lies outside the deep fascia carry 10% of blood. Perforating veins which pass through the deep fascia joining the superficial to the deep system of veins. So these are the veins that mainly lie below the superficial layer, that is deep fascia, and the 10% what is carrying outside the superficial vein, superficial layer, that carries only 10% blood. So whenever there is a hypertension, that is pressure created, so these veins get swollen up, and that is easily noticeable through the outer layer of the skin. Then we'll see here valves in the vein. So what are the valves present in the vein that allow the blood to circulate through the whole body parts? Valve present in superficial veins prevent flow of blood from proximal to distal and from deep to superficial. Absent from above groin level, valves can resist pressure up to 300 mm of Hg. As you know, the blood is circulated in the whole body. So lower limbs, or you can say lower extremities, blood circulation is controlled by this valves that are present in the lower limbs, and that control the circulation from downward to upward movement, and so it can only resist with the pressure of 300 mm of Hg. If more than that the pressure is created, so you can easily see the swollen in the veins. Then we'll see what are the factors helping in venous return. Means whenever heart is sending the blood, so how these veins are helping in the flowing of those blood and helping them to return back to the designated point. Negative pressure in thorax during inspiration 2 -6 mm. Then calf muscle pump. Normal venous pressure is relaxed state is 20 mm of Hg, rises to 80 mm of Hg during muscle contraction. So your calf muscle pressure is 20 mm of Hg normal, but whenever it rises to 10, 80 to 100 mm of Hg, that is helping the venous to send the blood backward to its desired place. Then visa tergo, arterial pressure transmitted to venous side through capillary bed. Then other capillaries also in arterial pressures also are created, that is helping the blood to get back. Then competent valves, then venia comitans, lie by the side of artery, held by arterial pulsation to propel blood. So it is beside the arteries, and it also helps the same function, that is helping in venous return. Then we'll see the etiology. What are the etiology that is leading to the venous or varicose veins? So the etiologies are long hour standing, which increases the hydrostatic pressure of gravity. So the persons those who are having jobs like they have to stand for the long duration of time, so you can easily see this varicose veins in them. Then family history, that is previous history of family members. Then pregnancy. In pregnancy there is more weight in the extremities, so it can be easily noticed in the pregnant woman. Then aging, mainly old. Then deep vein thrombosis, oral contraceptives, and obesity. So these are the causes, or you can say risk factors, that can lead to varicose veins in the patients. Then we can see what are the clinical manifestations, how you are going to find out the signs and symptoms in the patient. So we'll mainly see cosmetically disfigurement. So when the patients are having this swollen veins, you'll be seeing there is unevenness in the skin that is mainly looks bad from the outside, and thus you can picturize it as a disfigurement. Then dull aches. Dull aches means there will be little pain present. Then muscle cramps, increased muscle fatigue in the lower legs, that is legs will be heavy and you will be feeling very tired. Then ankle edema and a feeling of happiness of the legs. Then nocturnal pain, there will be pain in the fingers. So these are the clinical manifestations you can notice. Then diagnostic procedures, how you're going to diagnose. So first and foremost, history collection, patient's brief history, that what kind of job he is doing, how many hours of standing work he is doing. Then his family history. Then if the patient is pregnant, then you can ask about the type of work she is doing. Then rest other, according to the patient's condition, you can correct the history. Then we'll go for the physical examination. Mainly we'll go for the lower extremities. We'll try to palpate the veins. Then we'll ask the patient whether he's having pain or cramping and so on. Then we can go for the duplex ultrasonography. In ultrasonography, easily you can visualize the varicose vein. Then venography, ascending and descending, this will show us the venous return in the patient. Then we can go for the conservative management. Avoiding prolonged standing. Conservative management is according to patient's work criteria, or you can say according to patient needs. So in that we have to avoid the patient, or you can help tell patient to avoid standing for prolonged time. Then crepe bandaging and elastic stockings from toe to thigh, which causes decreased edema, venous volume and reflex, and increases venous return. So you can advise the patient to tie crepe bandage, that will help him to not to have pain and cramping, and also does not allow to form edema in the extremities. Then limb elevation above the level of heart while lying down. So limb elevation will does not allow the fluid to get collected in the lower extremities. Then we can go for the sclerotherapy. In sclerotherapy, a chemical is injected into the vein, irritating the veins endothelium and producing localized phlebitis and fibrosis, thereby obliterating the lumen of the vein under ultrasound guidance. So in this sclerotherapy, a chemical is injected into the vein that is irritating the venous endothelium and localized phlebitis. Due to this, whatever the blood clot has get deposited there, or you can say swelling or pressure has been created, due to this tension or irritating kind of property, the pressure will be reduced, and so the valves will get open to allow the blood to flow through it. You can see here, spread of foam monitor under USG guidance as it spreads. Apex of safeness opening compressed by probe to prevent foam entering deep veins. Legs also elevated. After legs is wrapped with elastic bandage 24 to 72 hours. So they are covering the area with the foam under the USG guidance, and then after 24 to 72 hours, they are again opening and seeing the effect of therapy on the patient. Then you can go for the surgical management. In surgical management, it is high end ligation and stripping. So in this, ligation of entire vein and dissection and removal of its tributaries. So in this, wherever the area is affected, they are going to ligate. That means they are going to open, and they have to they are going to cut the affected part of the vein, and they are going to take out, and then they are going to stripping it together so that there can be continuous flow of the blood. Then you can see here endovenous laser ablation. In this, under the USG guidance, SLV cannulated above knee jet, guide wire pass beyond FSJ. So in this, they are going to through the help of the wire, they are going to give a laser therapy to the patient in the affected area. Due to the help of the laser therapy, there will be heat created in that particular area that will help in relaxing down the pressure and making it in normal condition. Then you can see here in the nursing management, bed rest is maintained for 24 hours, after which the patient begins walking every 2 hours from 5 to 10 minutes. So bed rest is the main thing you can advise for the patient, because the prolonged standing is one of the reason. Elastic compression stockings are used to maintain compression of the leg. They are worn continuously for about 1 week after vein stripping. So this elastic compression stockings keeps the vein intact and does not allow to get swollen when there is a pressure increase inside the veins. So due to continuous use of this elastic compressions, there are chances that your vein can regain its normal length and normal size. The foot of the bed should be elevated. Standing still and sitting are discouraged. So whenever the patient is lying on the bed, so the foot end of the bed should be elevated, so there is no collected fluid in the limbs, and so the patient is not allowed to sit and stand. Usually the patient may shower after the first 24 hours. The patient is instructed to dry the incisions well with a clean towel using a patting technique rather than rubbing. So as you can see, there is a surgical procedure involved. So if the patient is bathing, he should always bath after the 24 hours, and he should make sure that the incisions should be clean. And if he is trying to dry it, then he should tap and dry the incision area instead of rubbing it. Then you can go for the next. If the patient underwent sclerotherapy, a burning sensation in the injected leg may be experienced for 1 to 2 days. The nurse may encourage the use of mild analgesic. So if the patient is having pain or a burning sensation during or after sclerotherapy, so you can advise to take mild analgesic, that can be brufen. So that's all for the today's class. Thank you to all the students.